guys, so today we will talk about what happened during each phases of clinical trials. So let's start off with our introduction. So what is clinical research? Clinical research is a component needed in medical and health research, which is essential in understanding human diseases, treating and preventing illnesses, as well as promoting health. So now let's talk about the processes of each phases of clinical trials in clinical research. Firstly, we will start off with drug discovery, followed by preclinical trial in vitro, and then clinical trial is conducted in human. Then the drug will be sent to regulatory bodies for evaluation. Manufacturing and marketing of the drug will be carried. So now let us have a look what are the differences in preclinical studies and clinical trials. Preclinical trials are studies done in vivo and in vitro in order to test for safety and final dosage of a drug, whereas clinical trials are performed tests on human to find out the potential effects on human health. Before clinical phase 1 begins, informed consent forms needed to be distributed to people who have volunteered themselves in clinical research so that they are well aware of the content of clinical research that they are involving. The definition of informed consent is a process by which a subject voluntarily confirms his or her willingness to participate in a particular trial after having been informed of all aspects of the trial that are relevant to the subject's decision to participate. Informed consent is also important to disclosure of relevant information to prospective subjects about the research and ensure that it is a voluntary agreement of participant to research. So now let's start off with clinical phase 1. The purpose of phase 1 in clinical trial is to determine safety and tolerability of the drug, and also to determine other pharmacodynamic parameters, as well as to determine pharmacokinetics properties. So what are the basic principles of clinical trial phase 1? First, we start off with a safe starting dose, minimize the number of patients treated with any toxic doses, escalate dose rapidly in the absence of toxicity, and escalate dose slowly in the presence of toxicity. Well, phase 1 trials typically involve very small number of population, up to 20 to 100 participants, and they must be healthy volunteers. After clinical phase 1, we proceed to clinical phase 2, which is the preliminary evidence of efficacy and safety in subjects with the target disease or condition. So what are the aims of phase 2? It is to determine the effectiveness of treatment, to examine the possible short-term side effects and risks associated with the drug, to evaluate potential study endpoints, doses, and also target population for phase 3 trials. So how does phase 2 clinical trials are being conducted? Firstly, patients are recruited and they are being randomized into different groups, where one group will receive the treatments, which is the drug, and the other group will receive a placebo. So who can be the study subject in clinical phase 2 trial? They are the well-defined disease state subject. After clinical phase 2, we will proceed with clinical phase 3, which is to compare new treatments with the best currently available treatment, which is the standard treatment. The aim of phase 3 is to confirm the safety and efficacy of the drug used on patients. Besides that, it is also used to compare the different doses or ways of giving a standard treatment. So now, who can be considered to be the subjects in phase 3 clinical trials. Phase 3 involved thousands of patients in many different hospitals and even different countries to be able to show the differences. Moving on, we will see what happened after phase 3. Before manufacturing and marketing of the drug takes place, the drug must be submitted to regulatory authority for new drug application. Post-marketing surveillance happens during phase 4. So phase 4 is known as therapeutic use trial, where we evaluate the long-term safety and efficacy. We compare the newly marketed drugs with other marketed drugs. We detect the rare and serious adverse effects, and we also obtain info from special groups. Hence, the target population in phase 4 will be the patients in worldwide, where we target on children, the elderly, pregnant women as well. The outcomes of these clinical trials will be the contradiction with other drugs, the alteration in the labeling, and also withdrawal from the market if the drug is found to be having any side effects. So this is the conclusion of each phases during clinical trials. So again, phase 1 is the concept of safety, phase 2 is the concept of efficacy, phase 3 is the one we confirm the efficacy and safety in large patient population, and phase 4 is the long-term safety test in diverse patient population.